Big Ray's Wrestling Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Big Ray's Wrestling Show. You know me, I am the Mark of the Masses, the man with the plan. Big Ray here to stay to talk some WWE Hell in a Cell 2015 today. This, ladies and gentlemen, is part of a conglomerate. We call it the Big Slam Nation, ladies and gentlemen. We just came off of our first show. We had Bill Apter, we had Bill Schuyler, who is here with us today. You can follow him on Twitter at YouGotTheShow. Bill Schuyler, taking it back old school, taking it new school, it doesn't matter. Bill Schuyler is my main man here and one of the senior members here at OneWrestling.com. Ladies and gentlemen, again, Big Slam Nation, we're gonna give you a preview, or we're gonna actually review Hell in a Cell 2015, but if you want to see what our picks were, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to go back and check out episode 1 of Big Slam Nation, ladies and gentlemen. It is awesome. We had a lot of fun. Again, Bill, welcome to the show.
All right. Good to be here, Ray. Glad to see that you're ready to roll.
Oh, yeah.
In this exciting Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. And
well, listen, man.
What happens?
I got to tell you something. The match lineup was actually really good. We had a couple of surprises here tonight, and we had blood. So I'm going to jump into the first match of the evening, which is the pre-show. We had Cesaro, Neville, and Dolph Ziggler versus King Barrett, Sheamus, and Rusev Machka. Now, before I ask you what your thoughts of with the match, we'll give you the quick finish. You know, Cesaro, basically, during the match, he had dodged the bullhammer. Long story short, it ended with Neville off the top rope. Well, before that, we got the super kick from Dolph Ziggler, which landed him into who was it that actually ended? That was Barrett, right? Who ended up in the big swing of Cesaro, and then he was finished off with the red arrow. Bill, what did you think of this match? I thought this match was extremely entertaining, well done, and a great way to kick off this pay-per-view.
Well, just as we had both discussed on the Big Slam Nation prediction show, we felt that this was going to be not just a run-in-the-mill pre-show knockoff, that this was actually going to be something, and it was. It didn't get into as big of a situation as we thought it was going to be as far as cultivating different leads into different angles.
Right.
But I gave this like a B-. This was rocking from the ringing of the bell to the end. And you talk about Cesaro with his big kick and his swing. Cesaro just went out of control in this. He was, in my opinion, the MVP of this match and
Absolutely.
One of the MVPs of the entire card. I think he was out to prove Vince McMahon wrong in that he does belong at the top of the card.
Well, it's funny. You have Cesaro, you have Neville, you have Dolph Ziggler, you have King Barrett, you have Sheamus and Rusev. All these guys are mid-carders that, with the opportunity, could be main eventers. I mean, out of all 6 of these guys, Bill, who do you think you could see legitimately in the main event?
Main event, I mean, without a doubt, I think Cesaro is that guy. Dolph Ziggler's been that guy for years, and for whatever reason, they don't seem to want to pull the trigger with him. They gave him that title run, back in the day on SmackDown, I believe it was. But that was an odd time, and
Right.
I don't think he got the right push. I think Jack Swagger was in the same boat back then. I guess he's still part of the company. I haven't heard from him in a long time. We'll run into his former manager a little later in the night.
Right.
But no, there's nobody bad out of these 6 guys. They're all top in their own thing. I mean, some people have a problem with Sheamus. As a wrestler, he's good. He's very good. His gimmick is not very good, and
Right.
I don't think they've found the right gimmick for him yet.
Well, speaking of gimmicks, really quickly, you have King Barrett, and that's the guy that I think they missed the boat on when he was back in the Nexus.
Oh yeah.
I know it would have been too soon, but I think they could have put the title on him for a short run with that faction. And then you have the man that creative forgot, Neville, who came in with like a house of fire. And I'm actually stealing that from Don Tony and Kevin Castle. I love their show. Um, Listen, man, all these guys, like you said, are great mid card talents. But for me personally, like I said, I want them to strip that King Barrett thing off of Wade Barrett. I want him to go back to being Wade Barrett. I mean, the guy looks phenomenal. He cut off all that body fat. Apparently,
Oh, yeah.
apparently he stopped drinking, so on and so forth. And he looks great. The guy has charisma, and the guy has size, a good look. I mean, and he's really good in the ring, and he has a legitimate finisher that I believe is a realistic finisher. I mean, if you hit anybody with a spinning elbow, I mean, you're gonna knock him out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I forget when they had the King of the Ring tournament on the network. So I mean, once we get to that anniversary, then obviously the gimmick will be gone, and you can get rid of the crown.
Right.
Everybody does need to carry that around. I mean, yeah, some guys did from way back when, but I mean, like say like somebody like a Bret Hart, he wasn't walking around with a crown. Stone Cold Steve Austin wasn't walking around
Right.
with a crown.
Right.
And the other guy that's saddled with her thing that everybody complains about when they win this match is that damn Money in the Bank briefcase
Right.
that now is big and gold with the big W. I mean, at least before it was just a regular silver Halliburton. You
Right.
can't go anywhere now. They say, they get mobbed wherever they go. Um, Neville, you mentioned he came in as a house of fire. He did, and I think if he was coming in now as opposed to back then, I think creative would have dealt him a lot better.
Right.
They really were. I think you had two factions, that being the main roster creative and Triple H's creative guys down at NXT,
Right.
and I don't think they wanted to push him so much when he got to the main roster because it was making them look bad.
Well, the thing is that, in my opinion, I want to move on from this really quickly, but I honestly feel that when Danny O'Brien went down, Neville was the guy that could have filled the role of the smaller underdog type character. I mean, do you agree?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, he's another Dynamite Kid type of wrestler.
Very good. Excellent. Super strong, by the way.
Oh, wait. Talk about strong. You have Rusev, Sheamus, Barrett, and Cesaro, Ed Neville. These are the strongest guys on the roster.
Come to think of it, man. I mean, since Tyson Kidd went down, I mean, I think if they didn't have anything for these guys to do, I think Cesaro and Neville would make a phenomenal team. I mean,
Yes.
can you imagine 20 rotations of the big swing, dropping them down to the mat, and then you have Neville with the red arrow? I think that would be really cool. But that's neither here nor there, Bill. I mean, again, I agree with you. I think this was a B plus, man. This match was a great way to start a lot of fun. I had fun watching this match, and it was a really good way to start the show. Now, speaking of fun, Bill. Speaking of fun, now, did you have something to say before we move on?
I was just going to say that this pre-show was really entertaining.
Yeah, really fun. Good.
All the back and forth between the announcers, good interviews. Somebody changed something up with this pre-show and actually made it something worth watching. The only thing I had a problem with,
What's that?
and I have it every time they have this pre-show on the network, is they stick a commercial in the middle of the match.
Right, I hate that.
For WWE. I mean,
you got to pay the bills, man. I mean.
No, but you're pushing your own product. You're already watching the network. Why are you giving me information about something that I already know about?
Right, and also
But
you are paying $9.99 in Canada, $12.99 I think, or $11.99. I'm not really sure.
Paying $9.99 starting in India. They just booked that. I just
Excellent. Really
dropped
cool.
some news on that earlier today.
Listen, like I said, I want to transition into fun and exciting. Now, on the Big Slam Nation, we actually went over a list of different wrestlers sports entertainers, but I would call them wrestlers that would face John Cena for the United States title. It was John Cena versus who? Now, Zeb Coulter comes out, and Zeb Coulter starts to talk about, how we need to move past. Why don't you break down what Zeb Coulter actually said?
The entire thing that Zeb Coulter was before with the isolationist movement, where keeping the Mexicans out of the United States and the immigrants and building a wall and doing all that. Well, now he's all about inclusion. He wants it's hurting the country to not bring in people from other lands, and that's what'll make a stronger America. Basically, the old melting pot type of thing from way back when, and that right there, of course, destroyed my pick for who I thought was the two guys I was picking to come in.
I thought it was possibly Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, but I figured I don't think Ray was coming back, and. You want to hit it, or will I hit it?
Well, I gotta be. I gotta be.
You
honest.
can do it better than me.
Alberto Del Rio. I couldn't believe Bill Schuyler. Because let me tell you something. I'm not even sure. Is he still AAA champion?
Yes, he is still the AAA champion. He is still on their roster.
So
and what's funny about this is they interviewed after the match, but he wouldn't do an interview. He wouldn't talk to them. So I'm wondering if he was not able to, for whatever reason, maybe AAA got, hey, why is our guy in your ring? I don't know.
Listen, I've been surprised. And in a world where it's easy to find spoilers and find out who's going here and who's going there, dude, I listen to 1,000 podcasts a day, and I got to be honest with you, man. I heard maybe some people, talking about the possibility of Alberto Del Rio coming back, but they were saying, oh no, he's definitely going to be in Lucha Underground, and he's a AAA champion. There's no way. And dude, this guy, well, first and foremost, Del Rio, during the match, he actually calls for the arm breaker. Let me just give the finish of the match. Cena runs over Del Rio with a clothesline. The two get up, they exchange strikes before Cena basically, does his usual rally with the 5 moves of doom. He goes for the attitude adjustment, but Del Rio kicks out. And as he kicks out, he hits a backstabber. He kicks out of the, or he rolls out of the AA. He hits a backstabber. A la, what's this guy's name? I spit in the face of people that don't want to be cool.
Oh, Carlito.
Carlito. And then hits the super kick. And Del Rio not only wins, ladies and gentlemen, he wins clean. John Cena, for guys like A-Track Brown, one of the members of the Big Slam Nation, and of course our podcast, the PW Hustle, which is basically Big Slam Nation Extreme. I got to tell you, man, Del Rio went over John Cena clean, and Del Rio is the new WWE United States Champion. Shocked.
First time he's held that title as well.
Is it really?
Yeah, because he's held it almost. He had the Intercontinental.
That's right.
He had the 2 different world titles, but he never had the U.S. title. So I think when folks look back on the prediction show, and they'll hear certain pundits in our group saying that once Cena drops the belt tonight, that the belt was going to go back into insignificance again.
No.
No, Del Rio is going to take this belt and run with it. And I don't even think that I don't think he's going to be a heel.
I was thinking the same thing.
I think him and Zeb are going to be faces.
Now, do you think Zeb Coulter stays as a mouthpiece for Del Rio? Because I don't know if Del Rio necessarily needs a mouthpiece.
Doesn't need one. They might use him just for a little bit. It might have just been for shock value. Because Zeb, Dutch Mantel,
he's great.
As he was on the scooter, I think he just had some major back surgery done.
Dirty Dutch Mantel.
So he's not really walking too well. But yeah, it's amazing for Del Rio. That's got to be the biggest news around the water coolers tomorrow, because nobody knew about it. He's still the AAA champion. As far as I know, he was already signed to be in Lucha Underground as El Patron. And WWE is no way putting this guy on a major pay-per-view and giving him a major title that he's not signed lock, stock, and barrel. So obviously he's done with whatever companies there are.
We're gonna have to do a little digging, but I know Billy Ray Valentine tomorrow is going to be, depending on when you're watching this video. Again, this is Sunday night, the night after the pay-per-view Hell in a Cell. Billy Ray Valentine is going to be doing the Raw Fallout show here, also at OneWrestling.com. So you're gonna want to check that out. Maybe Billy Ray Valentine can find out what basically happened and how did Del Rio actually get on this show. It's really awesome. I would love to spend the entire show talking about how great Del Rio is, but the last question I'm going to have for you is, is the United States Championship the second, if not maybe the most important championship? Because right now that belt is it surpassed the Intercontinental Championship. I mean, let's be real. And then right now that belt is just as important, and I don't know if this is sacrilege. The United States title is just as important. It's like back to the NWA days when the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes Daddy, held the United States title, or Ric Flair held the United States title daddy, or Nikita Koloff, Lex Luger. I mean,
Tully Blanchard.
It's almost a scenario where Taz was the television champion, RVD the television champion at that time in ECW. That title was way more important at the time than the actual ECW championship. So, I mean, dude, is this title the title in the WWE?
Without a doubt. Right now, I think it's the hottest belt going because it's being defended as long as they maintain it like Cena was doing. It's been there's been a match, and it's been defended every single week.
The question I have, and I don't want you to answer it. I want the fans, please leave your comments here below. OneWrestling.com or YouTube /OneWrestling video. You can also hit us on Twitter at OneWrestling, at Big Slam Nation. Is it, if the United States title is number 1, is NXT number 2? Does that mean the WWE title is number 3? I would like you guys to leave your comments here below. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys picked all the matches correct, again, us here at Big Slam Nation will be sending you a WWE or pro wrestling t-shirt up to $30 of your choice. So I hope you got your picks in, ladies and gentlemen. Right now it is closed, and this match is closed. We're going to move on to the first Hell in the Cell match of the night. We have Roman Reigns versus the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt, and this was in fact a slobber knocker. Roman Reigns does go over in this match. He hits him with the spear. He hits Bray Wyatt with the spear and goes over with the match. I mean, we had kendo sticks, but did we have blood, Bill Schuyler?
No, we did not have blood, which was disheartening to me because I felt this card needed blood. The Hell in a Cell matches being the ultimate cage match, because even though what's the other big cage match they have that they with
you're talking about the big blue cage? Oh no. You're talking about the Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber.
Right.
That's a very stiff.
I love that match.
Cage. You know what I mean? Because there's no give in that anywhere. But that one needs blood as well. I had spent the past week just going over and watching all these Hell in a Cell matches since the first one, and every single match was soaked in blood.
Right.
I don't care. The wrestlers were bleeding. The referees were bleeding. 2002, Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. Not only did the referee bleed, those two bled. Paul Heyman, who was on the outside of the cage, got busted open.
Oh, yeah.
It's like everybody. I'm surprised nobody in the first row didn't get busted open and bleeding in that match. So all these matches since in the latter half of this PG era have been disappointing, but this match did not disappoint. This was a hard-hitting match that brought everything and used. I mean, you had chairs, the steps, kendo sticks, tables. They used everything, and they just really just beat the living hell out of each other.
But that's the problem I have. And again, I'm not putting this match down because honestly, Bill, this was a very good match. I mean, you had two guys that are working really hard to entertain the crowds, but Roman Reigns, again, I think stepping up to another level. You have a Bray Wyatt who does what he does best, and I said it in Big Slam Nation. He's putting people over. Bray Wyatt doesn't have to win. You know, people get upset that Bray Wyatt loses so many matches. I think his character is built to a point that even if he loses, at times he wins. It's the thing of losing the battle but winning the war. And we're gonna talk about Bray Wyatt a little towards the end of the show.
Oh, yes.
But listen. And I don't know if I clarified. Roman Reigns ended up shoving the kendo stick basically in the throat of Bray Wyatt before hitting that spear. So they did utilize the, I guess, hardcore aspect.
Oh my God, dude! I mean, you had them on the table on the floor. You had both of them on the ring apron, and basically like a rock bottom into the table off of the. There were so many spots that I actually was watching, and I was going to write down what they were, but I didn't do it just because there were so many opportunities where they would have,
right?
In any other match, they would have bled.
Oh yeah, you could.
I mean, there was even that last one with that last kendo stick where it broke. I'm like, right there should have lacerated him and busted him wide open. But of course, it didn't. It ended the match. But I mean, what did you give this? I gave this like an A.
I am going to If we give this match an A, no, I'll give it a B plus also.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, let me see the match before the John Cena, just for the surprise alone. I mean the match, and please don't come in here and trash John Cena. John Cena is one of the hardest working men in the business. I'll give that match a solid B, but for the surprise factor, it was an A plus plus.
Yeah, that took it to a whole other level with this Cena match. Just with Del Rio coming out, I gave that a B plus, and I need to watch it again and maybe another time after that to see if it was more of the shock value, or what was it really the in-ring match?
I thought
talent,
I thought it was solid, Bill. Honestly,
yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, it could be anywhere between a B minus and a B. Again, with the surprise, it's an A plus plus. But listen, man. I mean, it was all in all a good match. The thing, like I said, that bothers me is you're talking about Hell in a Cell. You're talking about the culmination of a feud. You're talking about the end of a feud, and technically. I'm talking about all the way back to Bruno Sammartino versus Larry Zbyszko at Shea Stadium when they fought in a steel cage and Bruno Sammartino's arm was ripped to shreds. I'm talking about Mankind getting thrown off the top of the cage. I'm talking about Rikishi getting thrown off the top of the cage onto the.
My God, you had guys that wound up bleeding before they got into the cage.
Oh my goodness gracious!
I mean,
really,
let's
be real, man.
And I'm talking every different federation, every different promotion. They all had everybody gigged, everybody bled.
Absolutely.
And especially in matches like this. And this, when Jimmy Cornette created this match, and for those that don't know, yes, Jim Cornette is the man who created this match. Everybody at WWE will always give him the credit for that.
Yes, he did.
This was the last match of a feud. Everything that went down culminated at this match. That's what it was made for, which is where at one point, remember when it would have multiple Hell in a Cell matches, and
with Hell in a Cell, I always felt was a take off of an old NWA match, which was War Games, when they had the two rings together and they had the giant steel cage with the top, and you would see Animal just pressing somebody over his head and just slamming him up to the top of the of the cage.
And that's where they when they created the other match,
right?
Where they were in the pods, where they're coming in one at a time.
Yeah.
With the two, so that was even more of a nod towards the War Games.
War Games, yeah,
but,
absolutely.
Let's, like I said, so that match was there. Now
it was called the Match Beyond. The Match Beyond.
Once the last man went in, it was then everybody. Yeah,
nostalgia, dude. That was awesome. Absolutely, man. For all you young guys out there, go to the WWE Network and check it out. Awesome. But I'm sorry, Bill.
I'll give you one little piece of nostalgia, if anybody is aware of this. And the matches were horrible, but it was WCW.
Okay.
It was, I'm going to say 1999 into 2000, I believe it was. They created a match called Caged Heat, and it a complete ripoff of Hell in a Cell. It was the exact same cage, set up the same way, but the matches were terrible. Nobody bled, and almost it was at that point where the guys didn't really want to wrestle anymore. So you have like big sexy going up against Goldberg, and they were just collecting checks.
Okay.
Because the company was so bad at that point,
right.
Everybody's morale was gone. So like they were throwing together anything they could to try to get ratings back. So they created this Hell in a Cell, and they could have really took it to the moon with that, but no. But just I think if you catch one of the best, I think it was sold out 2000.
Oh God.
The network, and you could check it out.
Was that their last pay-per-view?
That was the last sold out.
Yeah, because
the following year it was 2001 was the buying it out. Yeah, so I mean this.
Win or lose, I don't think there is a loser. Having New Day as a tag team champions is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
New Day rocks. They do.
I was very disappointed with the match. The wrestling aspect of it, I thought was pretty bad.
Really?
Yeah, I was. It started out very.
I did see a couple of like a botch, a double team move. Yeah,
that's where it threw it. The Dudleys were, I think, were supposed to be moving ahead a little bit quicker in that match, and then there was a bad fall there. Funny stuff to start out with. The unicorn heads.
Awesome.
The Caucasian Kamala, as they would be playing bongos on Bubba Ray's belly.
So awesome.
And of course Xavier Woods was not there due to injury on Monday Night Raw.
Sure.
Where in fact what it is he got married today. So congratulations to Xavier Woods and his blushing young bride.
And by the way, you guys, I'm a big gamer. Go to YouTube and check Up Up Down Down. That's Xavier Woods' YouTube channel where he does game reviews, and he actually has game challenges with his cohorts in the WWE. It's actually really, really cool, man. They play Madden, they play a whole bunch of really cool games. So
many wrestlers are huge in the gaming.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's really cool, man. I really enjoy it. But listen, I didn't even get the finish of the match. You had the Dudley Boys going for an inverted DDT, inverted 3D, which
right.
they basically hit, and the referee had his back turned, and Big E comes into the ring and with part of the trombone, and Devon clotheslines Big E outside the ring. Now during this, Bully Ray. Oh, and before this, they did the old Eddie Guerrero thing where they kind of threw the trombone over to what was it, Bully Ray or Bubba Ray. And I thought they were gonna get disqualified. The referee was about to, but he didn't, and it led to this finish. Where, long story short, the distraction of Big E getting clothesline outside of the ring led to Kofi hitting the Trouble in Paradise. And guess what? Is it technically a clean finish if they didn't actually use?
Yeah, at that point it was.
It was. It was a distraction, but they went over, man. They went over clean, I guess.
I really thought the Dudleys were going to get their 10th title. And at this point now, I don't think they're going to get it.
I think they may.
The crowd is getting less and less enthusiastic with them.
Agreed.
And they're not doing anything to really change that. They're kind of going by the numbers with the Dudley gimmick from back when you and I both know that Bubba Ray is light years past where he was the last time he was in the WWE, and so is Devon. And they could really add a whole lot more to the company if they were not making them be this kind of Vegas lounge act of a tag team.
Well, let me tell you something.
For all intents and purposes, they're wrestling like nobody's business. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I think they could really add a lot more to the matches creatively, and not have to be stuck in 1998 or whatever year that was.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. I honestly thought when they brought in Bubba Ray that he was gonna move on with the Bully Ray gimmick, and the guy was the best heel in the business for about 3 years. I
could see it happening though. You got James Storm in You got Samoa Joe in. They didn't change their gimmicks.
Right.
So it wouldn't be that difficult for him to revert to, because I'm sure, knowing TNA,
Right.
he probably owns the rights to Bully Ray.
All right. Well, listen. I don't want to spend too much more time on this match. It was actually what do you give this match?
I gave this a C+.
Okay, I agree.
So even though I was disappointed, it wasn't that terrible.
I think it was a C. I thought the finish was okay. It was good. I enjoyed the finish.
The plus was all about the humor in the beginning.
The New Day is just they just rock. I'm sorry, they're
Nobody
fantastic.
can touch them. Yeah,
all right,
they're the best.
I really don't want to spend much time on this match because I thought this match was not great at all. And I'm not putting down the match because it's a Divas match, because you will see some of the best women's wrestling on NXT. I can watch them wrestle for hours. This match was carried by Charlotte Flair. We had Nikki Bella versus Charlotte for the Divas Championship. I mean, Charlotte did take a huge powerbomb bump onto the apron. That actually, wow. But Nikki actually goes for the rack attack, but Charlotte rolls out of it. Basically locking in the figure 8, and she defended her title, making Nikki Bella tap out.
Thank goodness. I was so happy to see a submission.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I don't want to spend too much time. Again, it was. I mean, I give this match a D+.
Wow.
Yeah,
I gave it a C.
No.
Just because Charlotte carried it that much.
That's the only reason why I got a D+. It would have got an F.
Now, I think this is the end of this feud.
Yeah,
I think
hopefully.
the Bellas are going to go off and do whatever. Possibly, I mean, Nikki, might go hang out with her boyfriend. I don't know.
Or not.
Who do you think is Charlotte's next opponent on the main roster?
We had Paige and Becky Lynch coming out to celebrate.
But no shenanigans happened. I was expecting it.
I thought for a minute Paige had kind of like lifted her arm, or kind of put her arm around her, around Flair, and I thought she was gonna attack her. I thought both girls were gonna jump her, but no, nothing happened. I don't know, man. I mean, maybe Sasha Banks comes up.
I would like to see. That's who I wanted to be, because
I think it's her time.
Let them have Let them have NXT women wrestling against each other.
Oh yeah, let Bayley stay there and run with that
title.
Show
the world what these girls are capable of, and because you're already seeing what other than Natalya and Paige, the rest of that Divas roster is the Divas roster.
Absolutely.
And it's the one that everybody was crapping on for years.
Absolutely.
Get their sandwich break, cigarette break, bathroom break, whatever it was. You didn't watch those matches because they were terrible.
Absolutely.
Now the girls aren't terrible anymore.
Terrible.
But they're only good.
Yeah, you can.
And I don't care who you. Naomi, it doesn't make a difference. I don't care. I'm not going to say
You're good.
That NXT division will sweep all those girls, and God help them when Asuka moves up to the top. I mean,
Ooh, I wonder how fast they'll push Asuka to the main roster. That kind of rhymed anyway, but
yeah, it's there's so much going on down in NXT right now, because we're doing basically a roster flip almost. It's going to be hard to tell who's going to go where and who's going to stay. I didn't expect Prince Pretty to make his move up to SmackDown as quick as they did and put into a major angle.
Well, not as quick as they did. The guy's been in NXT for since Florida Championship Wrestling. So
I know, but he never wins. He doesn't win the big matches.
Yeah, but I think his gimmick will go over with the WWE crowd.
Him and Hot Summer, yeah, they're going to go over well.
All right. Let's move past this match. And this is a match that, let's be honest,
this match sucked.
This was bad. All right, look, I'm not even gonna really get into what happened during the match, because there wasn't really anything special. It
was so fast. It didn't to be that bad in that short amount of time. I don't have any idea how they messed this match up.
Listen,
creatively.
Rollins was gonna get chokeslammed. He escaped, hit the pedigree, and I said, "Oh no, Kane's gonna kick out of this." He didn't.
No.
No.
Dude, this was the slowest, most plotting, boring. I mean, this was like...
I hate to trash it, absolutely.
Dude, it was horrible.
Bad.
It was just... sickeningly bad. I gave it a D minus. I
Wow.
really wanted to give it an F. Kane doesn't deserve to have had that bad of a match. Rollins doesn't deserve to have that bad of a match. What I'm hoping is this, again, of course, is the end for them. That this also might be the end and the new beginning for Seth Rollins, to let him be the wrestler that he really is.
Well,
And
listen.
let him have some quality opponents and stop being this weaselly, cheating, I can't win a match without 5 people helping me.
Listen, I see that. I actually do believe that this feud is over because I see Kane going in a different direction again. I'm going to get into that towards the end of this video. So listen, I agree with you, man. I give this thing a D minus, borderline F. It was a bad match. And two good wrestlers in their own right. Because Kane, no matter how old he is, he still puts in the work. He still does what he has to do. The guy's a team player. Seth Rollins is phenomenal in the ring, but just sometimes you can have an amazing dancer dance with another amazing dancer, and if they don't have that chemistry, kabosh. So wasn't really happy. I'm gonna move on to the, I guess technically the co-main event, but it really wasn't. We have.
We forgot the Intercontinental title.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. The
quote-unquote
co-main event for the Intercontinental Championship. It's okay. Ryback, the Master, like what is it? A-Track about the Master of the Feed Me More.
Master of the Feed Me More.
Whatever that means. Versus Kevin Owens. Again, it was.
Why was when I was talking earlier about a rushed match? I thought we were talking about that one.
It's like a filler.
Unfortunately, Seth and Kane was not a rushed match. It went on for far too long.
Yeah.
This match here was over quick, like they were short for time.
Was
and
it
they
5
were
minutes?
not. Yeah, and they weren't short for time.
No, they weren't. Well,
and I mean, unless they weren't sure what was going to go on in the main event, but this was the exact same match that these guys had last week.
Yeah, same thing.
The eye gouge, everything.
It was
it
was like going to a house show, watching that match, and then watching Raw and seeing the exact same, because that's happened. That's happened.
And I hate to see Kevin Owens getting saddled with another bad gimmick again, or not gimmick, but I mean just a role. I just feel that Kevin Dunn and the powers that be up there with Vince cannot wrap their minds around this guy being a major player because of the way he looks.
Listen, I think Sami Zayn's coming back from his injury, and I want to see those two tear the house down for the IC title.
Yes.
That would be amazing. I really don't want to spend too much time on this, man,
we're done.
because
that was
the match, basically the finish, just to let you guys know, Kevin Owens hits the pop-up power bomb for the clean win over Ryback, who tried for the shell shock, but Owens using his brain, grabbing on the top rope. Anyway, that match was. What would you give that match? I give it a D.
Absolutely, that's what I gave it, a D.
Yeah. Okay. So now, main event of the evening, dude. This match was great. Let me tell you something. Freaking Undertaker, Brock Lesnar. You guys don't have to do flippity flops and jump off the top rope or steel cages, or this was Hell in a Cell, man. And this this match told a story. Brock Lesnar tearing the ring apart, exposing the wood. I mean, the Undertaker getting the F5 on the exposed wood. Brock Lesnar getting choke slammed on the exposed wood. I mean, great match. Brock Lesnar at one point, his head, I thought he actually blocked his head from hitting the pole, but apparently I didn't see him blade himself. I mean, the dude, I think, bled the hard way.
He had about 1.5 inch zigzag gouge in the top of his head that I couldn't see until the end. And I was really mad. I'm like, we have blood. I was ecstatic. And I mean, he was a crimson mass quickly. And they came in there and cleaned his face off, and I was furious.
Oh, let me tell you, can I say something about this? Listen, I understand WWE is entertainment, sports entertainment. Do me a favor. This isn't MMA. This isn't boxing. Right. Stop bringing the damn referee in every fight. This is happening now more and more, where they're checking the cut and all this bull. I don't want to. I don't want that.
Nah.
That stinks.
You
That
see what happened?
absolutely
The ring
stinks.
doctor came in, and whether that was booked or not, I don't care. All I know is Brock took the doctor out.
Yes, good. I was so happy when Brock Lesnar gave the freaking just shoved this idiot doctor out of the ring. Because listen, it's wrestling. Let the guys wrestle, man. Do you forget Ric Flair back in the day with his face all covered in blood, Dusty Rhodes?
When it comes down to, I understand on your television product you want to have it PG. That's fine. But when it comes to the pay-per-view,
yes.
the pay-per-view does not have to be PG, because you know what? None of your sponsors are sponsoring. There's no commercials on there. There's nothing covering Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. This is your own, and now even with it being on the network, it's even more under your own house.
Yep.
So let these guys bleed and do all the kind of crazy stuff that you can't see any other time.
Please.
And Undertaker was bleeding. He was bleeding. Taker got hit with 4 or 5 F5s. He got taken to Suplex City. Again, when he ripped the matting off and brought the wood down, and then actually Brock got hammered into it first.
Yes, he did. He got
and then of course Taker finally got hit into it. We had the Hell's Gate submission hold was put on. These guys did everything, and Taker would not stay down for the majority of that match once Lesnar took control.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just amazing.
When Undertaker hit the tombstone,
yes,
and he folded his arms, and that long tongue came out, and looked up, and his eyes were rolled back into his head. I actually for a minute said, "Oh, this match might be over."
Yeah.
And Lesnar kicked out. Listen, man, Lesnar towards the end of the match finally hits a third F5 on the exposed part of the ring, and pins the Undertaker in what was just, in the words of, let's just say Jim Ross, a slobber knocker. Undertaker was left in the ring, and the fans just with adulation and love and thank you, Taker, and
he couldn't get up. He was trying to sit up like he always does, and it took him forever. It felt like he was in that ring. I didn't time it, but it was a long time, and it was worth every second, because that was psychology at its best.
Oh, absolutely.
As to what was the culminate coming up, because the crowd was like, really, damn, we're cheering for him, but he's still not getting up. And then he finally manages to get up, and even then he's not able to really get up. And then we had an event. So
as Undertaker is getting ready to do his signature, pose. Yeah, what was that? A chicken?
I don't know, whatever that sound is that comes down for. Yep.
No, anyway, we sound like a couple of idiots. If anybody just tuned in at this moment, they would think we were a bunch of nuts. But all seriousness, man, Bray Wyatt. Now remember, we talked about Bray Wyatt before, and how he doesn't have to win to be important. And Bray Wyatt comes down with the entire faction of the Wyatt family.
Everybody.
And they proceed to decimate the Undertaker. I mean, they beat the living hell. Wyatt mocks the Undertaker. Rest in peace. Now, I remember for a long time, people were like, well, these guys went at it WrestleMania. There was no payoff. These guys... Well, here's payback time. Taker did go over Wyatt, but now Wyatt is coming back bigger and stronger than ever. Now, they end up carrying the Undertaker out, dead man style, like crucifix, like he was on a cross, which brought me back to the days of the Ministry of Darkness. But I got to tell you something, man. And now I'm going to go back again.
Now, and it ends.
It ends.
That was the end of the show.
They carry him out.
So let me hear your ideas, and then I'll give you mine.
Okay.
Because my brain was just friggin'
Well, listen. Here's the deal.
So many different angles to book this.
Here's the deal. I mean, I think the Undertaker's last run will be alongside possibly his brother, Kane. This is why, well, he's gonna need some help. And from what I heard, they've been wrestling together in house shows all over the
All down
country.
in Mexico when he just
Right.
went on the
In
Mexican
another
tour.
country, right? I was about to say in another country, in Mexico, and they've been getting huge pops. Um, will Kane help his brother, the Undertaker? But will there be a third member joining them, or is two enough to defeat those four? I mean, what are your ideas?
Well, mine comes down to obviously it's a case of whether this injury was career threatening or a career ending injury or not, and that's being kept close to the vest, which would be the icon, the man called Sting.
Mm.
And
Ah,
my opinion is this: if he was injured, obviously he is injured, but if he needs time to heal, this gives the plenty of time for the Undertaker to be able to rest himself up, train, get back, and ready to do whatever this thing is going to be. I would take this out as far as right up to WrestleMania, where you could have the Undertaker and Sting both doing promos, vignettes, stuff in the rafters, stuff in the graveyard, where they're never laying hands on anyone, and you're just doing like the old days where you're just building up, and leading to the Wyatts
hmm.
with the Undertaker Sting war against the Wyatts, a co main event for Sting and
I
Undertaker.
understand. Right.
You're not getting Sting and Undertaker for whatever reason. They don't seem to want to put them against each other.
Maybe
So
together.
to have them side by side against the Wyatts, I
That's
think would
brilliant.
be killer. I just don't know if it could happen.
Well, you never know because
Yeah.
apparently we had no idea that the WWE re-signed, from what we see, Alberto Del Rio and brought him in. Um, again, I'm getting word that Daniel Bryant may be coming back very soon, but they're keeping that also hush hush. And WWE is working with a lot of indie shows, and I think they're working with Evolve. Am I correct?
Oh, absolutely. They're hand in hand with Evolve. They have an open door system. Evolve is basically unofficially, officially their feeder system.
Dude, are they working with AAA?
That's a possibility.
Are they
That I
are they working with Lucha Underground?
don't know.
Don't know.
This would be phenomenal. The only thing is with Lucha Underground, you can't really mix their characters together because characters in Lucha Underground are different from their characters in the rest of the wrestling world.
Okay. Well, I
But
mean,
it doesn't make a difference. You can still share talent. Um, AAA, yeah, it's curious. I'd have to look into it and see if Evolve is working with AAA or if they're with CMLL.
right.
Because like say New Japan is with CMLL. They're not with AAA, which leads to a lot of dream matches and cards that people would want to see. They can't see because those two can't work together.
Well,
But there's so much opportunity out there right now. And like I was telling you earlier, WWE made a shot across the bow and put their flag down in India, where uh, Total Nonstop Action, Impact Wrestling, was looking to be the wrestling company from the North America in India.
mhm.
And now the WWE came in and dropped. The network goes into effect. I think it's going to be all ready to go beginning of November, so it'll be ready to go for the Survivor Series.
Very
So
cool.
now they're one of the biggest, hungriest wrestling populations in the world. For the first time, is able to get the entire WWE product and the entire history through the network. That's big money. Big
That's
money.
it's big money, and it makes everything a little more interesting. Bill, we're gonna stop right here.
I know we could talk all night.
We could talk all night, but ladies and gentlemen, listen. Next week we will be here. Bill Schuyler, myself, Big Slam Nation episode number 2. Also look out for the podcast, the PW Hustle, ladies and gentlemen. You can follow us here on Twitter at onewrestling.com. You can at One Wrestling. You can follow me on Twitter at Big Ray Show, Bill Schuyler at You Got the Show, and of course our cohorts, Billy Ray Valentine at Billy Ray Hustle, 8-Track Brown at Pharaoh Fancy, the Professor Quintana at PROFPW Hustle, Fame Black at Fame Black, and of course the icon, the legend, Bill Apter at Apter One Wrestling again. And hey guys, Bill Apter is on Instagram at Apter One Wrestling. So go follow him on Instagram. Maybe he'll have pictures of Lexi all over the place, or maybe he'll have pictures of his book, which is doing phenomenal. #1 bestseller. He just got inducted into the St. Louis Hall of Fame, ladies and gentlemen, and he will be with us almost every single week. He just told me today for Big Slam Nation during an opening segment, so that's going to be really, really cool.
And they can follow Bill every Friday. He has a segment on WrestleZone.com on the podcast.
Yes, I want to give a shout out to WrestleZone. I want to give a shout out to what's the other the other podcast Sunday
Segway.
Sunday Segway. Those guys are awesome. They put us over so hard.
Oh yeah, great
guys.
That's the UK.
Subscribe to those guys. Subscribe to those guys. I want to give a shout out to Rob Kimball. Follow him on Twitter at Rob Kimball Brand. This guy is talented. Go. I'll see if I can post something below because I forgot last time. But if you go to his Twitter, guys, he'll have links to his page where he has great merchandise. If you need him to create a logo for you, so on and so forth, he's fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. Man. Listen. I say this every single time I do this. I do a video, Bill. You know what that is?
I think I do.
Well, I would do this for a living, but if I can, I would do it anyway. Why? Because I love talking wrestling. Bill, when will we get to see these people again?
I'm going to see these guys down the road.
Well, in the words of the legendary Bill Apter, we will see you
at the matches.
Later, guys. Thanks for joining us. And don't forget Big Slam Nation. Follow him on Twitter at Big Slam Nation.